Before you spend a single dollar on a room divider, there are three things stores don't want you to notice. And once you see them, you will never look at a $300 folding screen the same way again. I'm going to walk you through exactly what to check before you buy and then show you 6 alternatives that avoid every one of those mistakes for a fraction of the price. So alternative one, of course, is tension rod and curtain dividers. So why does this work? A curtain divider fully blocks sightlines while staying lightweight, completely removable and still light permeable through the waves of the fabric. So it avoids the small space trap of a solid wall. What to avoid? So a thin see-through curtain reads as a shower curtain, not a room feature, and cheapens the entire look no matter how nice the rod is. So hanging it floor to ceiling, not floor to window height, in a heavier blackout or linen blend fabric, and measure your ceiling height first so there's no gap at the top. Alternative 2, open cube storage shelf. This is approximately $15 verified prices. So why does this work? Positioned perpendicular to the wall, it creates a visual break while letting light pass through the open cubes, which solves the exact light blocking problem covered in mistake 3. What to avoid when doing this? Overfilling every single cube reads as clutter rather than intentional design, and doing the clean look you're going for. So this is how you fix it, of course, styling it with a few plans and books, leaving most cubes deliberately empty, and check the weight limit per cube before loading it up. Alternative 3, no drill sliding curtain track. A tension rod mounted track wedges between two walls using pressure. No screws, which directly solves the mounting concern from mistake 5. Full sliding door function with zero wall damage. Assuming no drill automatically means flimsy. The actual failure point is buying a rod that's undersized for the gap it's meant to fill. So fixing this problem is of course by measuring the exact gap width first and choose a rod rated for that width with some room to spare in its adjustment range. And then alternative 4 is fabric wrapped foam board screen. So why does this work? It's fully freestanding, no wall, ceiling or rod required at all, making it the most flexible option on this list if you move often or rent short term. What to avoid is thin, flimsy hinges that make the panel wobble or collapse under their own weight. That's the exact difference between something that looks handmade and something that looks store-bought. So the fix is usually use sturdy fabric hinges or hinge tape between 3 or 4 wrapped foam boards and test that it stands freely before calling it finished. Alternative 5 is of course hanging plants and macrame divider. Why this works is because a row of hangers divide the space visually without blocking airflow or light at all, the exact opposite trade-off of a solid divider and ideal for genuinely tight spaces. So what to avoid in this is spacing the hangers too far apart, which reads as scattered rather than an intentional dividing line. So how do you fix that? Is of course hang them evenly spaced at the same height from a tension rod or removable ceiling hooks so the eye reads it as one continuous feature. Alternative 6 is wood bead curtain divider. So why this works is that it adds texture and movement to the room while letting light and air pass through completely, avoiding the heaviness of a solid screen. And what to avoid with this is clamped and even strands, which reads as an unfinished craft project rather than a finished piece. And the fix of this is of course space the strands evenly and deliberately. That consistency is what separates intentional from thrown together. What a fair price actually looks like by category. So one of the things worth knowing before you shop, fair pricing looks different depending on the type of divider. So here is a rough benchmark for each category based on material cost rather than retail markups. A curtain style divider, including the rod, should reasonably cost between $15 to $35. Anything significantly higher is paying for the brand on the fabric, not the fabric itself. An open shelf or cubed storage divider should land between $15 and $40 for something genuinely open open enough to let light through. Solid heavy bookcases marketed as dividers often start closer to 80, and that price jump is almost entirely about material thickness and finishes, not function. A folding screen, if you're buying rather than building one, fairly priced sits between $40 and $70 for a basic fabric and frame version. The $200 to $300 version are typically differentiated by a designer print or a hardwood frame, not a meaningful difference in how well it divides a room. A hanging or beaded divider should cost between $15 and $30. These are some of the cheapest to produce, so a high price tag here is almost always pure markup. Knowing this range means you can glance at any listing and immediately tell whether you're looking at a fair price or a styling premium before you even get to checking the materials or the mounting method. A few questions that come up constantly whenever this topic comes up, so let's clear this up quickly. Does a room divider actually reduce noise? Only slightly, and only with dense heavy materials. A lightweight curtain or open shelf won't meaningfully block sound, so if noise is your main concern, a divider isn't the right tool for that specific problem. Can you use any of this in a rental? Every alternative in this video was chosen specifically because it avoids drilling or permanent wall damage. So yes, all 6 are renter safe. Do room dividers make a small space feel smaller? Only if you choose a solid floor to ceiling opaque option, which is exactly the mistake this video opened with. A divider that lets light or air through avoids that problem entirely. So add up all 6 alternatives here and you're still looking at less than the price of a single store-bought folding screen from a design retailer. So before you buy any room divider, store-bought or DIY, run it through this checklist. Does the material description match the photo, or is it hiding a cheaper frame behind good lighting? Are you paying for a genuine function or just a label? Does it let some light or air through, or will it make a small space feel smaller? Have you actually measured your ceiling height and the gap width? And do you know exactly how it mounts, especially if you're renting? If it fails even one of those, it's not the right divider for your space, no matter how well it is styled online. Let me know in the comments which one you're going with, and if you want the full budget breakdown with even more options. See you in the next one.